definition. The Islamic financial system is similar to the traditional financial system in terms of products and services, but its operations are primarily guided by a set of moral and ethical principles. Simply describing the Islamic financial system as interest-free does not give a complete picture of the system and might lead to misunderstanding. The Islamic financial system encompasses insurance, capital formation, capital markets, and other sorts of financial intermediations. Due to the inescapable requirement to compete with the conventional financial system and the force of convergence between the two, Islamic banking and finance appears to be mingling the notion of social welfare with the traditional philosophy of Islamization. As a result, the creation of new institutions as well as the reformation and improvement of existing ones will result in a complete and solid Islamic financial system, which will then contribute to the enhancements of distributive and social justice in society, bringing the true Islamic economic system one step closer to completion. Next is the objective from this report is we are able to find out various information about Islamic financial system and Islamic banking and finance in other countries. First, we get to learn more detailed information about Islamic financial system and Islamic banking and finance. Second, be able to know the history establishment of Islamic financial system and Islamic banking and finance development in the country. Third, get to know the total number of Islamic banking and finance institutions in the country. And last is gain knowledge about the total Islamic banking and finance fund size and the growth rate of the institutions in the country.
Next, we continue to the history of IFS and IBF development in Bahrain country. Islamic banking and finance have grown, expanded and prospered, not just in Bahrain but also throughout the world, to become a major worldwide business in the last 30 years. Bahrain is regarded as the Middle East's premium financial services center with expertise in private banking, fund management, insurance and capital market, as well as being a pioneer in Islamic banking and finance. Bahrain now has the highest concentration of Islamic financial institutions in the Middle East, with 24 Islamic banks and 3 banking-related entities registered: BNP Paribas, City Islamic Investment Bank, ABC Islamic, Al Barakah Islamic, and UBSR among all the companies with Islamic banking operation in Bahrain. As Bahrain have a long history and proactive commitment to Islamic finance, Bahrain is known as the Islamic banking capital of the world. Its development as an international center for Islamic banking was aided in part by recommendation made in 1978 at the Organization of the Islamic Conference (OIC), an intergovernmental organization of 56 countries that collaborates to ensure the progress and well-being of the global Muslim community. The Muslim population in the Middle East and throughout the world required financial goods and services that reflected their faith in a manner that traditional banking could not. This was made through Islamic banking. The Bahrain Islamic Bank was the first Islamic bank to open its door in 1979, and its success prompted in the creation of specialized Islamic products such as leasing, loans and investment programs. Since then, not just Islamic organizations but even conventional banks have launched products and services. Following the foundation of Bahrain Islamic Bank, the expansion of Islamic banking was gradual. Only 5 Islamic investment bank and offshore banking units existed in 1994, around the time of the Gulf War, which boosted oil price and income raising. Demand for Islamic customized investment in the Islamic finance sector was stimulated. The total number of IBF institutions in the country. Bahrain banking sector, which includes both conventional and Islamic bank, is the financial system that most important component, accounting for nearly 85% of total financial assets. As of September 30, 2020, the country has 376 financial institutions, comprising 31 retail banks, 62 wholesale banks, 17 foreign bank branches, and 8 bank representative offices. There are additionally 34 insurance businesses, 53 investment firms, and 86 specialty licenses among them. For the Islamic Bank, there are ABC Islamic Bank, Al Barakah Islamic Bank, Al Barakah Banking Group, Bahrain Islamic Bank, Bank Al Khair BSC, GFH Financial Group, Itma Bank BSC, Khaleji Commercial Bank, Liquidity Management Center, Bahrain BSC, and Venture Capital Bank. Next, for the conventional banks, they are consist of Ahli United Bank BSC, Bahrain Development Bank, Bank of Bahrain, and Kuwait BSC, Bahrain Middle East Bank BSC, Islamic Bank, National Bank of Bahrain, and Seco Bank United Gulf Bank BSC. There are 11 by total of Islamic Bank in Bahrain and 8 bank that mainly period of conventional.
The figure 1.2 shows size and growth of IPF between 2007 and 2016 and the future growth perspective. The growth of Islamic banking has been remarkable. All the figures are in US billion dollar. For example, at the end of 2016, global size of the Islamic financial service industry was $2,293 billion, and this was due to an incremental increase of $by 150 billion over the previous year. To estimate size as in 3,600 million and 4,362 billion are presented for the year 2020. The former is based on the assumptions that the industry continues to grow at the current growth rate of 7% in the next 4 years, and the latter assumes that the industry will grow by a compound annual growth rate of CAGR of 15.27% by 2020. This shows the total asset also increased rapidly. A number of factors contribute to the expansions, and the most important of which was the Central Bank of Bahrain's clear visions and approach. The CBB established a separate regulatory framework for Islamic banking and insurance, as well as comprehensive prudential and reporting mechanisms tailored to the specific concepts and needs of Islamic banking and insurance. Licensing requirements, capital adequacy, risk management, business conduct, financial crime, and disclosures or reporting requirements are all covered in the Islamic Bank Rulebook. Similarly, the takaful and retakaful firms are addressed in the Insurance Rulebook. Both rulebooks were the region's first comprehensive regulatory framework for the Islamic finance industry. As you can see, figure 1.2 is Islamic banking share of Bahrain in global market in section A and domestic market in section B. Bahrain Islamic banking share was 2% in 2017 and global Islamic banking industry. In 2016, global share of Bahrain was 1.6% and 1.1% in 2015. The domestic market, Islamic banking had 29% share in the same years.
Relevant issue on development IBF in Bahrain. Financing instrument in Islamic finance consist of equity like and debt instrument. Fixed claim instrument include murabaha, ijara, salam, and istisna. Sukuk is an asset-backed trust certificate, or we call it as a bond, representing ownership of an asset or its usufruct based on the principle of Sharia. In 2001, the Bahrain Monetary CBB used the first sovereign sukuk based on ijara sukuk. Between 2001 and 2015, Bahrain became the Gulf region most active sukuk issuer, providing 94 foreign security worth a total 6.8 billion by generating a pool of Sharia compliance liquid asset. This performance supplied the government with a source of capital and accelerated the growth of the local Islamic financial industry. The CBB has released the Bahrain dinar denominated as Salam Sukuk, which is issued monthly and has a 3 years maturity. Another option is a short-term ijara sukuk, which is likewise denominated as dinar or offer monthly and has a tenure of 6 months. The tenure of the long-term ijara sukuk, on the other hand, is 2 until 10 years. Furthermore, Bahrain September 2016 17th sovereign debt issuer, which contained 7.5 years dollar benchmark sukuk, was welcomed with strong investor interest and overcrowded order book. Oxford Business Group 2018. According to the figure 1.1, we can see Bahrain only issue 1% sukuk entire the world, and according to the table 1.2, we can see that Central Bank of Bahrain issued sukuk in 2011 and was rated as BB+ by S&P.
Next is the country's IBF development and prospects opinions. First is development of Islamic banking and finance in Bahrain for year key milestone 1973. Since its establishment, Bahrain Monetary Agency has been promoting Bahrain as an international financial center and encouraging major international financial institutions to use the country as a regional base since its inception. Because of its long history and proactive approach to Islamic finance, Bahrain is known as the Islamic banking capital of the world. Bahrain Islamic Bank was founded in 1979 to offer commercial banking services. Dar Al Mal, a holding company based in Switzerland that owns a group of banks in Muslim countries, established Shamil Bank of Bahrain in 1982, and Al Barakah Islamic Bank followed suit in 1983. Many countries have established Islamic banks. Second is development of Islamic banking and finance in Bahrain for year key milestone 1990s. The Bahrain Institute of Banking and Finance Center for Islamic Finance was established in 1997 to introduce and support the growth of Islamic banking and Islamic finance. BBIF has been so successful that it now offers degrees and training programs in over 50 countries. With these improvements, Bahrain became the GCC's financial service hub and the leader of 30 nations in helping and guiding them in the establishment of their own Islamic finance legislation and structures. A turning point moment in the development of Islamic banking when the BMA has granted 8 banking licenses to a diverse group of institutions, allowing them to pursue Islamic banking services. Bahrain now has the highest IFIS concentration. Bahrain is home to 2/3 of the GCC's Islamic financial institutions. And last is Islamic banking and finance in Bahrain for today. The fact is Bahrain as global leader in Islamic finance with highest concentration of IFIs in Middle East, 34 Islamic bank and 11 takaful companies. The remarkable growth of Islamic banking show total assets of USD 1.9 billion to USD 10.3 billion. This is an increase of 400%. Islamic banks, including Islamic Windows, are predicted to grow their market share in 2031 until 2022 after achieving 37.1% of domestic banking system assets and 70.2% of overall banking system assets by the end of 2020. Bank mergers and acquisitions will fuel the rise as will sustain Islamic finance expansion amid a rebounding economic climate, expanding public knowledge of Islamic goods and more usage of fintech solutions.
In conclusion, Islamic banking and Islamic finance have performed well in Bahrain during the previous 2 decades. So the capital city of Manama has seen the establishment of numerous new Islamic banks, financing organizations and financing firms as the leader of global in financing Islamic bank. Aside from that, several traditional banks have opened a new Islamic banking window. However, given the country's rapid growth in Islamic finance over the last 20 years, there is considerable indication that the Islamic finance industry will confront challenges. The phenomenal rise in Islamic banks result in significant profit for this institution, which will accompany by high level of liquidity. Because of the large quantity of cash available, these banks are willing to support the initiative. Nonetheless, many Islamic banks have similar idea, business method and structures. So, many Islamic bank investment banks are private with no consistent revenue stream to support overheads and cope with economic challenges. Traditional banks, on other hand, rely on loan books and credit card facility to generate consistent revenue and meet routine expenses. Additionally, despite significant efforts to standardize new aspects of uniformity in policy and process, as well as regulatory framework and Islamic goods are required. So the Islamic finance industry must embrace a new wave and trend in order to meet the demand of global finance. Furthermore, the majority of customers are ignorant of new Islamic financial innovation, making campaigns and promotion to pick their attention. Customer may be a smart idea, Sharia, compatible product and mutual funds like those in other nations can compete with their conventional equivalents. As a result, in order to compete with traditional goods, these funds must become more efficient. Furthermore, in order to spread Islamic banking internationally, governmental backing is required. The Sharia regulatory difficulties should be readily resolved with the help of Islamic financial institution and Sharia governance structure. Actually, Sharia supervision regulation should be followed by Islamic banks in the same way that they follow by conventional banks. Also, Islamic banks should be incorporated into global market in order to compete with other institutions in terms of innovation. Finally, the Islamic finance business in Bahrain has to strengthen its human resource by providing them with specialized training that will aid in the development of the industry, such as Worker Fund was found to give financial and technical help in enhancing current training programs and creating new programs in order to improve human resource quality. So